there is a diagram. That is what she says. In the diagram, you find the picture of a man, she says. That is what the Egyptians depict as a cryptic picture, the picture of the inner man evolving in all the forms of nature. You will find this picture on the pyramids and the Egyptian pyramids. And she says, the glory fades and fades until it becomes dark when it touches the ground. And it is as dark as night when it goes to the bottom. And again, it goes to the highest point of illumination when the ineffable glory bends back again. This is the picture on the first page of the book. That is what she says. The book is nothing but yourself. So in the book Isis Unveiled, on the first and second pages you will find the description of this first page of the wonderful book. And there are people who searched and searched for that manuscript, unfortunately.
What?
Who searched? There are people, they thought that there was a manuscript somewhere. At every step she is hinting, there is only one copy of it is now in existence. That is the I am in you. And she is also hinting that it is existing in the cave temples. That is within yourself, the layers of your consciousness. So this is one aspect of this stanza. First to the west, then to the bottom into the earth, then to the east once again. Then sixth. The sixth mantram or sixth stanza. Yat Purushena Havisha. Yat Purushena Havisha. Deva Yajnam Atanvata. The third line. Vasanto Asya Asit Ajyam. And then fourth line. Grishma Itva Sharat Haviti. Grishma Itva Sharat Haviti. So, Yat Purushena Havisha Deva Yajnam Atanvata. Vasanto Asya Asit Ajyam Grishma Yitva Sharat Hari. Purushena, by the person or Purusha. Yes, Havisha. Holocaust, that is burnt offering, offering in fire. By the offering in fire. That is, if you make some fire and offer something, some food in it, it is called fire offering, which you find also in the Old Testament. See, fire is made and then a lamb is offered. In the Old Testament, a lamb is offered. Then what happens? God asks the father to offer his son. You know the story. Then what happens? The father offers his son. And before just the moment he wanted to cut his son, then the voice is heard. Lay not your hand upon thy son, my boy. That means the moment you wanted to give it away, you have given it. That is what I want from you, not the physical cutting. That is what God wants from us. He never wants anything to eat from us, but He wants us to know that anything that is ours, including our body, mind, etc., does not belong to us, but it belongs to Him and His existence. You see, so He says, it is not the lamb or the hen or the egg or the omelette I want from you, but it is your spirit of offering, which is the all offering. When there is the spirit of offering in its true sense, you have offered everything to Him. That is what He wants. See, so it is, the fire offering is a symbol of all offering. Then once again, God shows the lamb to the Father. What does that mean? Take the cycle of the year as a symbol of the lamb you offer. You see? Because He wants to initiate the higher secrets of the cycles of years to man. That's why God has shown the head of ram as the beginning of the year. You will find this story in every scripture in the Bible. The year begins with a symbol of the head of the ram. So then, when the father wanted to offer his own son, he stops and then shows once again the ram and says, "This is my offering." That means you offer the activity of the whole year to me, and I am here in the form of the whole year to look after you. That means realize my presence as the presence of the year and its splendors around yourself and this story. We find it in the Old Testament. We find it in Mahabharata, Bhagavata, and all the 18 Puranas. In the Vedic texts, you find the story of the ram everywhere. Because it is the story of the universal symbol. Here, Havish means the fire offering. So, since by the Purusha, the fire offering is here, if you divide, it becomes Deva. That means the Devas, plural, Yajnam. The word is a wonderful word. It means 2 or 3 things at the same time, which we have to note down. The word Yajna means offering, plan. That means the spirit of offering and the cutoff of our ownership from anything when you offer, and a scientific process of offering. All these 3 concepts put together are called yajna. Yajnam. Atanvata means Kevalam.
Can you repeat the 3 meanings of offering, sacrifice, and plan?
Plan. Offering is your spirit of offering. sacrifice is disowning, including yourself. Otherwise, you can't call it sacrifice. If I say, I sacrifice my wristwatch for the sake of a poor man in India, that is something nonsense. It is only a giving and not sacrifice. It is charity and not sacrifice. Charity is different from sacrifice. You know, this is the correspondence between the Tibetan master and one of his disciples, Jalpur. The disciple asked why he was cut off by the master. He said he had offered everything, money and many things. The Tibetan, you know the letter of the Tibetan master? Yes, except yourself, because we never wanted all these things, we wanted you. That's why there's a present cut off to you from the ashram. I think you know this correspondence.
Only the sense, because we discussed it here once in the group.
Yes, there is a correspondence, passages and paragraphs, some parts of which I could get. It's wonderful. Say, the so-called disciple was very careful about himself and always he is remembering himself and not the humanity. He always remembered how much he offered, what valuable things he offered to the ashram for the plan, and what good arrangements he could make to Alice Bailey for the work and all that. And he was asked to be away from the ashram, that is from the work and activity. And it was declared that he no more belonged to the activity. And then, with great indignation, he has written a letter to the master. But these are my offerings, almost the maximum I have offered. Nobody offered as much as I offered. Then the answer is yes. You have offered everything except yourself. Because he never expected all these things from me. It is only false gurus who accept bounties and gifts and everything from disciples. There are, of course, such gurus. That is very good. I want to have it from the disciples. Then the disciples will take it care. There are such gurus who favor disciples like this. But the true guru is the one who never expects from any one of his disciples anything. Because the one who expects something from others is less than the other fellow. How can he be a guru? When he is in a position to be helped by someone, that someone becomes his guru. He cannot be a guru of that someone. See, when I need your help, I cannot call myself your guru. I should call you my guru because I want your help. Poor fellows. There are many gurus, but the Tibetan says, you have offered everything which I never asked, but I never asked these things. You never offered yourself, and that is the one thing I wanted. So, yajna means such an offering. And then there is a plan or a method or a procedure of offering oneself. All these things put together called yajna. Asanvata means development. So, since the devas developed the method of offering the fire offering something in the fire by the Purusha. That means they could offer the same Purusha into fire because they have nothing else. Everything is the same Lord and His presence. If they want to offer something, where from? From Him they have to offer. So they made a holocaust of the same God. They burnt Him and offered Him. Now here is a peculiar turn given to the whole story, which makes us understand certain things. So these fellows, they began to do something, and they found God omnipresent, and they killed Him and offered Him to Him. When I come to Geneva, when I am living as your guest, I want to conduct some ritual where I have to offer some water to you. Where from I shall get? I should ask you first the water, and then have it in my tumbler, and then begin the ritual, and I offer it to you. Because I am only a guest, I can't have my own house and my own water from my well here. In the same way, the water from my own well do not belong to me, does not belong to me, because the water belongs to nature. If I want to offer water to God, I have to take the water of nature, which belongs to God, and offer to Him. So, these fellows, they didn't keep quiet. They wanted to offer something to Him. They killed Him, burned Him, and offered Him. See how foolish the fellows are. It is a profound significance, of course, which we can understand. And then we see what they have done further. Third line, Vasanto. When you split up, it becomes Vasanta. Vasanta means the spring season. The season which we call the spring. Asya, the next one. To him. Next, Asit. Asit means it was. Ajyam. Ajyam means what we call in India ghee or clarified butter. You see, they take milk, they boil it, they cool it, they add a drop of sour cream in it, close it. Next morning you will find a type of yogurt which they call the curds, and they churn it and they get butter, sour butter, not ardent butter. The butter is something like sour thing. It's our sister, not sister, I think is Indian way of doing it. And then they heat the butter. Then they get what we call the ghee or clarified butter. That is, the water content of it is gone and the oil content of it is left. Then it is used for offering purposes. Pardon? Oil content. So ajyam means ghee or clarified butter. So these fellows wanted to offer the material to burn. There must be oil. So they wanted to burn the original Purusha, the person. because they wanted to offer him into fire. But there must be something to bring the flame and make it burn properly. It should be oil. So they used the clarified butter. They put him in the clarified butter, put him in fire, and he was burning wonderfully. What is that clarified butter? It is what we call the spring season. So these fellows took out a part of the year, which we call the season of the spring, and made it into something which helps the fuel to burn, bring out the flame. And then he mixed this wonderful purusha in it and offered it. We'll see what it is. Arjun. Then Grishma. Grishma means summer. Grishma means summer. Yidhva means stick of fuel, wood for fuel. The wood, which we call the sticks for burning, for fuel. So they brought some wood to burn. What is that wood? It is what we call summer. So from the same person, in the form of year, they took another part of him which we call summer and used it as the wood for fuel. And Sharat. Sharat means harvest season. Which will be in the tropical countries between September 21st and November 21st. That period is called Sharat, harvesting season. That is the season when the grains are filled with food material. And they have taken these fellows, devas, and used it for having. Having means food for burnt offering. Food for burnt offering. So, first to kindle fire, they brought some wood, and to make it burn, they brought some oil. Then they brought some grain to burn in it. That grain is what we call the harvest fuel. This is grain.
Not the train.
Which one? The grain. It is the pronunciation difficulty between country and country. People of two nations will have always some communication difficulties. for your information, the solar year in the tropics is divided into 6 equal parts called the 6 seasons. Unless we just know it, we can't get much of it. The first season is called the spring, between March 21st and May 20th. Then May 21st to July 20th. We have what is called the summer. It is called Grishma or summer. This is called Vasanta or spring. Vasanta means spring season. Grishma means summer. July 21st to September 20th. They have what is called Varsha or rain. Rain. Varsha, it is called Varsha.
Mm-hmm.
Then September 21st to November 20th is what we call here Shara, or the harvest season, which is Shara. It is mainly called in India the moon season. It's called the moon season in India because we find the clearest and the most delightful moon during that part of the year in India. Because the clouds are gone, the rainy season, the winter is not yet on, so we have the most enjoyable phase of the moon during those 2 months. Therefore, we call it the moon season. And poets, since ancient days, Valmiki, Vyasa, and Kalidasa in Ramayana, Bhagavata, Bharata, etc., they much sing in glory of the moonshine during those 2 months. It is very famous. And it is also described as the season for decantation of, or the yogic season in the year. This is because previously the water of the rivers will be muddy, dirty. Suddenly, during 48 hours after the advent of this season, you will find all the mud going down and the water decanted, and you will find beautiful blue water in the crystal water in the rivers. So it is called the decantation season or the yoga practicing season of the year god. That is, he filters the higher principles in himself from the baser principles. That is a poetic expression about this season. And then you have the next season. November, January, Hemanta. That is, it is called the snow season, winter. And finally we have January 20th to March 20th. It is called Shishira, or the season of the leaf fall, which may be somewhat equivalent to the autumn of the Western countries. You have autumn, is it? There we have an equivalent of autumn during 12 months.
After the snow?
Pardon?
After the snow?
Yes, exactly. Because it is between the tropics, tropical range. After the snow, during these months you will find the trees quite naked, like yogis. No leaf. And suddenly you will have the spring where the new leaf comes. And the cuckoo sings, etc. The next season. And the young couples will go into the gardens and wander next season. So we have seasons of 60 days each. So according to that, here Sharat, the moon season, is brought by these fellows devas as a handful of grains to be mixed with the ghee and offered in fire along with the physical matter of the Purusha. That means suddenly the devas awakened in one unit globe of creation. You see? Then they found that something going on already in spite of themselves. All the while they don't know where they are. They were sleeping in nothingness. So they woke up and found that something is going on within themselves and around themselves. Immediately they found the instruments and the implements to work with. Already there, they are eternal, and they began to work. And they wanted to offer according to the plan because they found that somehow they felt that they have to do it. Just as the young boy when he is born, he feels like bleeding. Or he feels like crying. What happens if he doesn't cry? His parents will cry because he is dead. The newly born child should cry. That is a sign of his first breath. Otherwise the elders begin to cry that he is dead. Here, these fellows, they felt like doing the offering. And then they took out from that god, they saw what was there in him. And they saw some spring season. And they brought it as something. It is spring season, Vasanta, as clarified butter. And they saw that there was the summer or heat of the year, hottest part of the year. That means they found that the water of the earth or the grasser principles are sublimated or elevated into what we call the vapors of water to form once again clouds. So a cyclic phenomena the Devas saw when there was nothing in space, in the globe going on. So first they offered something. Then they wanted some fuel, that is the activity of combustion in the creation. We have everything being maintained by combustion. If we take food, it is digested and distributed, so there is combustion. If we take air, the impurities are burnt up and the blood is purified and there is combustion. So the fellows found some combustion going on in every part of the globe. So out of it they took the formula of creation. And then they saw that something is coming out as return or harvest. That is, what is the result of this creation? It is only its own fruits or the results. That is the cycle of creation. When a grain is sown, you find the plant coming, and what is the result? Giving 1,000 grains. So they saw the formula of the whole creation used as its own seed and being realized as its own grain multiplied. So the Devas, just they began, joined hands and began doing all this. In the formula of what we call the cycle of the year. So the Devas worked out the cycle of the year with all its properties and seasonal splendors as the cyclic chain actions of nature. And then they found that something is coming out as return or reward. We have to eat. So the animal has to eat the plant, and the human being has to eat the plant and the animal as well. So there is the reward. And once again, they understood why all these things are given to us. Just for no return and gratis. See, why air is given to us? Do the fellow air expect something from us? Are we so important in Geneva to do something useful for him by way of return? Are we so influential, fellows, so that he may seek our favor and get something done by us by helping us? They found no such seed or motive. They found everything being offered unconditional. So they felt like offering once again what they got. And then they learned the spirit of offering. This is, so you take down the translation of it. More thing. Then the Devas made the fire offering of the same Purusha. They have developed the formula. Of Yajna. You maintain the same term because it is a technical term. Developed the formula of Yajna. Full stop. Next sentence. For him and for them, the spring season